Tonight, busy weekend for Westpac Rescue Helicopter, Sore Throats Clinic and Women's Lifestyle Expo. Kia ora and good evening. Welcome to Central News on TV Central for Tuesday, the 28th of April. I'm Amanda Harper. In today's news, it was a busy weekend for the Waikato Rescue Helicopter over the Anzac break. The helicopter was dispatched to a head-on collision on Waitomo Caves Road on Sunday morning. The two sole occupant female drivers were both injured in the crash. A 65-year-old American woman was trapped in her car for over an hour with multiple fractures before she was freed by rescue crews. She was then flown to Waikato Hospital in a serious condition. The other driver, a 49-year-old local woman, sustained moderate injuries and was also taken to Waikato Hospital for further treatment. The helicopter was again called out at approximately 6 p.m. to Waihi. An 18-year-old Hamilton man had sustained burns while adding petrol to a fire. St John's staff had administered treatment initially at the scene of the incident before transporting him to the sports field in Waihi for pickup by the rescue helicopter. The man was then flown to Waikato Hospital with serious burns to his arms and legs. In the biggest event of its kind, the Central North Island will host more than 540 Trends delegates, including hundreds of the world's most influential travel and tourism buyers, to an afternoon of activities ranging from tandem skydiving to wine and food matching. Trends is the $24 billion tourism industry's premier international trade show. The event has been hosted by Explore Central North Island and will be attended by 320 international tourism and travel buyers, plus media and representatives from 290 of the country's leading tourism operators. Delegates will take a break from their business meetings to experience firsthand some of the visitor activities on offer in the Central North Island. Chris Roberts, Chief Executive of the Tourism Industry Association New Zealand, says they will discover that this part of the country has something for visitors across the spectrum, from families and the youth market to group tours to those seeking luxury and thrill seekers of all ages. Activities include bungee jumping from 47 metres high above the Waikato River, a Māori culinary feast featuring traditional methods and ingredients, a helicopter flight to White Island, high tea at a 5-star Taupo hotel with an interactive fly fishing demonstration, mountain biking through Rotorua Forest, and a magical Waitomo glowworm cave experience. A commanding display has seen the Chiefs get past the Force 35-27 in an entertaining Anzac weekend encounter at Waikato Stadium. On a weekend where New Zealanders and Australians remember the fallen, the Chiefs fought back after conceding an early try to storm back and punish the Western Australian outfit. With the emotion of the Anzac commemorations pre-match, the Chiefs showed their intent with ball in hand as they constructed some well-worked play upfield, allowing first five Marty McKenzie to nail the opening penalty. The Force were swift to reply and were reverting to previous tactics, using the rolling maul, which was successful in their previous encounter last season. Chiefs fullback Tom Marshall is pleased with the result and bagging 5 competition points, but pointed out there is room for improvements after letting the Force back into the game. A pivotal moment in the contest came when Force halfback Ian Pryor was red-carded for a dangerous and reckless tackle on Chiefs winger Tim Nanai Williams. Forced to play the remainder of the match with 14 men, the pressure eventually took a toll on the Force defence as the Chiefs piled on the pressure at set-piece down in the opposition 22. The Chiefs will travel across the Tasman to Melbourne next week, where they will face a tough Rebels outfit at AAMI Park. In our last story, the news broke last week, but for those just finding out now, TV Central will cease broadcasting at midnight on April the 30th. Due to ongoing challenges in raising sufficient local commercial funding. Trustee and CEO Daryl Anderson says viewer support for Waikato and Bay of Plenty's regional community TV channel, which began in 2002, has been fantastic. But technology and viewing habits are continually changing for many sectors of the community. There is no doubt that an important continued need exists for the production and distribution of local content to ensure we build and support our local identity. He says there has been an expression of interest for some continued local production. All staff have been offered support in finding future work opportunities within the community. Management and staff are proud to have provided this service over the years and take this opportunity to thank all supporters, viewers and various funders in the community that have been part of this journey. And now for our region's weather. Hamilton will be showers and fine spells with strong westerlies, high of 17 and low of 11. Rest of the Waikato will be the same, Pairo high of 17 and low of 9, Matamata 15 high and 8 low, Te Awamutu 17 and overnight low of 11, Tokoroa 14 high and 10 low. And in the Bay of Plenty, Tauranga long fine spells with a few showers and gusty westerlies, high of 18 and low of 13. Te Puke, your high is 16 and overnight low of 12. And for the marine forecast on the west coast, Raglan, a westerly rising Wednesday to 35 knots with a very rough sea changing late. High tide is at 6:45. And on the east coast, Bay of Plenty, gale warnings are still lingering with a westerly 20 knots. High tide is at 3:51 p.m. Coming up in the show, Waikato Equestrian Centre. Welcome back to Central News. The Waikato Equestrian Centre contains plenty of features to assist you and your horse in training and also provides a great competition venue serving the Waikato. Reporter Rachel Sutton chats to the organiser of the horse trials that are coming up next month.
So the Waikato Equestrian Centre started about 30 years ago by a group of volunteers who were looking for a facility within this Hamilton city limits for children to enjoy their ponies. We have approximately 100 acres and we are multidisciplined with every equestrian discipline here, including dressage and horse trials, pony club and that. We like to concentrate largely on the grassroots riders so that they can start from the bottom and work their way up.
And what facilities do you offer here in particular?
Well, we've got dressage, cross-country, show jumping and show hunter. We have the polo field out here on the grass, which we can also use for ribbon days, etc. So we have Western, they're affiliated with the Equestrian Centre and they have probably 2 or 3 events per year. So it's a big variety that we can offer for people.
And you have something very exciting coming up, the horse trials. Can you tell me all about that?
Okay, so what we do is we have 2 horse trials in the year. We have a spring and an autumn. So we're having one on the 2nd and 3rd of May, and that is dressage and show jumping on the Saturday and cross country on the Sunday. And would have probably approximately 200 horses competing over those 2 days.
And can you tell me about those different categories there?
Okay, what usually happens is they go on levels as far as the height for the cross country. So we have 80 centimetres, 95 centimetres and 105. And that starts from grassroots. We have amateur classes and we have 1-star and 1-star plus classes.
Can you tell me about the superior rubber surfaces?
Okay, we started that up probably about 2 horse trials ago, and what we do is we randomly select 4 riders for each team out of all the riders that are there. So every single rider goes in a team, but what we do is we take the first letter of everyone's name from the ESNZ website, and then we end up with 4 riders in each team. And some of them, they don't even know each other, so it's really good just to sort of be able to get them to go and meet each other and then cut. And what we did last year when we did an Easter is we actually had a prize. So the first team who actually found all the other 3 riders came up, they got a prize. It was fantastic.
That sounds like good fun.
Yeah,
can you tell me a bit more about who is responsible for designing the course and how that all works?
Okay, so Mike Glyfoyle, he's from Auckland. He comes down, he's been doing the last 3 horse trials for us. He's actually on the premises now, working hard. And he comes in for probably about 10 days. He prepares the course, makes sure the ground's correct, all the jumps are where they are. He designs the course, and then on the day he has it all flagged and marked out, numbered for the riders and competitors.
Are there any particular challenges that you've came across in putting these horse trials together?
When I took over running them, it was hard because I used to do dressage only, so I really had a big learning curve for horse trials. And the hardest thing was to find the volunteers, but then once we kept on spreading the word, and each year just got better and better, and now we just have people just coming from all different places, even from as far as Taupo, to come and help.
That's fantastic. Now, can you run over the general timetable for the day of the horse trials?
Okay, so on the Saturday we start usually about 8:30, and that's for the dressage. The show jumping starts about 10 o'clock. And then on the Sunday, we have the cross country starting around about 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock, depending on numbers.
Coming up on the 2nd and 3rd of May at the Waikato Equestrian Centre. For more information, head to horses.net.nz. In our next story, Waikato DHB is working with communities to provide free sore throat management services across the Waikato. We talked to Clinical Director Damien Tomic and Medical Officer Anita Bow to find out more.
Rheumatic fever is the end of what happens in some people when they start off with a sore throat, and the sore throat is caused by a bacteria called Group A strep. And then for some reason, that then leads to our bodies starting to do things to ourselves. And what the person can present with is a fever, but also they can have what we call chorea, which is jerky movements. They can have a rash, it's a pink rash, and it has kind of quite an odd looking surface or edge. They could have nodules under the skin, so small bumps. And the worrying one as well is obviously they can have heart issues from that. Now that can present with shortness of breath, but any of those kind of symptoms can present, and all of that is called rheumatic fever. And you don't have to have all of them, you can have only just one.
Which part of the population is most at risk at developing rheumatic fever?
So in Waikato and in New Zealand, we find that almost all of our cases of rheumatic fever are either Māori or Pacific, and in general for Waikato, probably about 85% are Māori and the rest are Pacific. It's very rare to see it in other groups.
What campaigns do you have promoting rheumatic fever at the moment?
So for a number of years now, there has been national campaigns, because there are actually targets, national targets, better public service targets, to reduce the acute admissions for acute rheumatic fever. And therefore every year people will see campaigns raising awareness about what rheumatic fever is, but also really raising awareness about what to do if you have a sore throat, and in those high-risk groups particularly.
What are the main objectives of the campaign?
So if we're talking about the Waikato at the moment, and we're starting to think about we've got sore throat management clinics coming out, what we're really wanting to do is people to understand that having a sore throat, not getting it checked, not having antibiotics, if it has the bacteria, the nasty bacteria, can lead to rheumatic fever. So we need to make sure that people are aware of what to do and where to go to get a sore throat checked, but also the what is rheumatic fever, so they can look out for those symptoms and spread the message.
Damien, you have a number of support from different organisations. Who are they and how do they help out?
Well, the Waikato District Health Board have led the initiative locally, and within that organisation, all groups have worked together really well. So the Population Health Department that Anita leads has worked really closely with myself, the Clinical Director for Primary Care, etc. We've also received a lot of support from our local primary health organisations.
For more information on the nationwide campaign, go online to waikatodhbnewsroom.co.nz. Stay with us. After the break, the Women's Lifestyle Expo. Welcome back to Central News. The Women's Lifestyle Expo is coming to Hamilton May the 16th and 17th. Rachel chats to local foodies, My Kitchen Rules 2014 winners, Nina Truscott and Belinda McDonald, who will be taking part in this year's show.
I guess when we auditioned and went into MKR, we did a lot of foraging. We were down at the lake making a wild weed pesto, and I guess they sort of rolled with that. I don't know if we class ourselves as real hippies, but we're cool with it. It was all fine.
And Nina, what is your thoughts on the title?
If that's what a hippie is, then we'll take it. We weren't concerned at all. I think that it kind of speaks Earth Mum.
So taking it all in your stride. Now, of course, Australian MKR, My Kitchen Rules, is on at the moment. Are you keeping up with the show?
Most definitely. Yes, been watching it just for the last few nights that it's aired, and yeah, it's great. 3 nights a week through the winter, knuck down, cosy under the blanket.
Nina, do you have any favourites yet on the show?
I quite like the Texan and his daughter. They're a really cool couple, and it's going to be very interesting, to say the least. The Wizard of Oz remark the other night with the lion. We'll see how we'll see what roars with her, I think.
Now, speaking of My Kitchen Rules, can you tell me how have both of your lives changed since the show?
Well, they're much busier, for starters. We were busy mums in the household, and now we're busy working mums, but no regrets. And, you know, we're really trying to work together closely to make future successes from what was already a successful year in 2014.
Did you find that it was a hard adjustment after the show was all finished, filming was done? It was hard coming back to reality at all? What was the adjustment like?
It was very hard. It was almost like you were in this sort of Big Brother type house scenario, and then to come back to reality. It was wonderful getting home to see family and children and things like that, but you almost felt a bit lost and a bit kind of empty, a bit of an anticlimax. We want our friends again. So, but it was cool.
And Nina, you've got twins. How did they find it when you got back home to them?
Oh, you know, they were straight into it, running to me, get me this, get me that, come and see this, come and see that. Luckily, kids are resilient, and you know they bounce back pretty quickly. To them, we're not TV star mums. We are just, here's our slave back again. So get back to work. Yeah.
Now you are going to be part of the Women's Lifestyle Expo. Can you tell us a bit about what you're going to be doing at the expo?
We're going to be doing a couple of cooking demonstrations in the Wintec auditorium, so two different ones on both days while the expo's on.
Are you going to be cooking any special dishes in particular?
Yeah, we've got 4 different dishes that we're going to do, and they're simple, easy to prepare, seasonal, and most importantly, really good coming into winter. So we're going to do a medicinal vinegar, a beautiful raw chocolate, and herbal infusion using native kawakawa. So lots of things for mums and dads to take home and put into their diets over the winter.
And what other events do you have coming up on the cards?
Well, what don't we have? May is a bumper month. There's things happening every weekend. We have obviously the Women's Lifestyle Expo, and we've also got the Great New Zealand Food Show. We have just been awarded with a Sustainable Good Food Boost mentorship program, which is happening through the month of May. We've got a slot in Good Morning. We're going down to Christchurch on the 4:30 TV show. All sorts of things coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Carrying on with the food theme, 2014 MasterChef winners Karina and Casey are set to launch their very first book, and you will have a chance to meet the girls on May the 22nd. Rachel talks to the store manager of Kitchen Things who are hosting the event.
We really wanted Karina and Casey to win, so we were really stoked that they took it out.
How hard is it to get big names, Karina and Casey, the MasterChef winners, to do an event for you at Kitchen and Things?
We're really lucky. We've got access to a lot of the publishers that publish the cookbooks, and we've got a really good relationship there. So when we see some really good chefs come through or cooks come through, we're basically putting our hand up saying, look, we'd love to have them along and showcase their skills and their personalities off in our cooking theatre.
It must take a lot of work to put on an event like this. How much work goes behind the scenes, and is it just you yourself that's organising it?
Well, actually, I'm really lucky. I wish I could say I do the whole thing single-handedly, but I definitely don't. I've got Vicky Ravlich-Horan. She's our event manager. So, and she's actually a bit of a cook herself. So she gets on really well with the publishers, but also the cooks and the chefs. So she works very closely and manages that side of it. I'm really there to make sure everything runs smoothly from the store point of view, things like getting the chairs out and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's really good, really easy.
Now, do you have a particular focus of or a particular target market for events that you take on at Kitchen and Things?
Well, this is probably going to sound a little bit sexist, but generally the women come along, which does actually suit us because within our business, kitchen appliances, it's the ladies that actually usually make that decision. But in saying that, we still get a lot of guys along, and there's definitely a lot of guys out there that enjoy cooking, and I think that's growing as well. So, it works out really good.
On the evening itself, are you going to be showcasing any particular types of products or cooktops or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. So in our cooking theatre, we've got set up 3 different types of cooktops. We've got an induction cooktop, which has been out for many years now, but it's a very fast way of cooking and heating up food. We've got our traditional gas cooktop, which is a large capacity gas cooktop, and a bit of a new technology, which is a teppanyaki plate, but driven by induction. So basically like a very large fry pan. But yeah, hopefully they'll use that. And then on top of that, we've got the state-of-the-art ovens. We've got 10 different ovens they could use. I'm sure they're probably only going to need one, but they can do things from steam cooking, and when it's time to clean up the oven, a lot of the ovens have got pyrolytic cleaning. So, some really cool technology.
That is impressive. Now, can you tell us what can we expect from the evening?
Look, on arrival, you'll get some bubbles, so that'll be really cool. Karina and Casey are actually going to come up with a few nibbles to start with, so while we're waiting for the event to kick off, they've got a few little bits that you can sample, and then they'll go into actually doing a bit of a cooking demonstration, and hopefully, I know we'll have a bit to taste afterwards, so it's going to be awesome.
For the cooking demonstration, do we know what dishes they're going to be cooking for us yet?
No, we don't. We've left that up to them, and I know it'll be awesome, so it'll be well worth the wait.
And can you tell us, how do we get our hands on these tickets?
Well, we've got a one-day deal. They're on the one-day deal sites. So I think it's a Grab One site. So check that out, and I'm sure there'll be a very special deal on that on the day.
Join Karina and Casey on Friday, the 22nd of May, 5:30 p.m. at Kitchen Things. Thank you for watching Central News on TV Central. We have all received some sad news last week, but I'd like to take this time to remember the success of TV Central over the last 15 years. It started off as a dream, and with hard work, dedication and perseverance, they were able to achieve that dream, and in doing so, provided the opportunity for hundreds of staff over the years to come in, upskill and have a great experience. I personally owe a lot to TV Central, but all things must come to an end. We would love to hear from you. If you have any feedback about watching our channel, email news@tvcentral.co.nz. I will be back on screens tomorrow night with more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. My name is Amanda Harper and this is Central News. Have a good night. Ko Marie.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.